Hey everyone, and welcome to Music Mondays, the weekly show where I take an album and I introduce it to you, and you have a listen to it and tell me what you think. So the album I chose for this week is Silent Shout, which is a 2006 electronic music album from the brother and sister duo from Iceland, The Knife. Now, a lot of you may have already heard of this album or heard the album itself because it was pretty critically acclaimed when it came out. It was apparently, now that I did the research, it was the 2006 album of the year as judged by Pitchfork. Up to you whether you take their opinion with a grain of salt or not. I came upon The Knife much later than that when I was in university, and I really like The Knife, and for a 2006 electronic music album, it's still something that I listen to today and think it sounds completely unique. And the reason I say that, and what's interesting about The Knife and some of the other electronic music artists that I like Oneohtrix Point Never, for instance, is that when I learned very briefly about music production in university, I was told that one of the things you want to do as a producer is when you're taking electronic samples or that kind of, all your bleeps and bloops, you want to run them through filters and do all this crazy stuff to them so that they don't sound recognizable. They don't sound like electronic music. You want them to sound organic or new or interesting. And what's kind of funny about The Knife, and especially in their earlier work, but also in Silent Shout, is that you listen to The Knife and they don't do that. The samples or the instruments they use are totally in the digital realm. They're in their sounds that you've heard a million times before, and they manage to wring something sort of really propulsive or really engaging or really intense out of these kind of standard generic bleeps and bloops just through kind of sheer texture, like sheer multiple layers of rhythm and just a kind of driving intensity. And I really like that. And particularly on the Silent Shout, there are four tracks that really stand out for me that this day I will happily listen to again and again, which is the album opening, Silent Shout, The Captain, We Share Our Mother's Health, and Forest Families. Those are the four tracks on the album that I urge you to listen to because they have this kind of they kind of have this building intensity to them, and it's not like dubstep or dance music where you're kind of like building up to like a climax and then you kind of drop the bass or something like that. It's more that they're almost like soundscapes in the sense that they build up towards this multi-layered complexity while still being emulating that kind of popular electronic music tone. And that's really cool for me. And you couple that with the kind of cryptic, vaguely political or vaguely kind of just weird dark lyrics in these tracks. You only need to listen to Silent Shout about dreams about people's teeth falling out and that kind of thing. And I don't know. This is just one of my favorite electronic albums. And if you haven't heard of The Knife, if you haven't heard this album, I'm sort of really excited to introduce it to you. So check out the link in the description of the video. It's actually a link directly to the Knife's own record label, to their own eShop, where you can get a digital download, a lossless digital download of the album for I think about €6.50. Really good. Have a listen, and let me know what you think. Anyway, happy listening.